Hey guys, and welcome to my first video in my new Powercab series. In this series, I'm going to show you guys everything to do with Powercab, from basic setup to the more advanced options that you have within the global settings, and what exactly a lot of the terminology means. There's a lot of information out there, and there's also not a lot of information out there. A lot of things are very confusing, and I just want to try to clear up a lot of those things for you guys. So this first video, I wanted to just cover basic setup. There's a couple of ways to do this, and there's really no right or wrong. It's going to depend what works for you and which way you're more comfortable with. So I have another camera that's right on top of my Helix with the Powercab behind it, and I want to show you guys how to set this up in the most basic way. So say you just buy your Powercab, you get home, you plug it in, and you turn it on, and you're going to say, oh, this doesn't sound as good as I thought it would. And there's a reason for that, because there is a setup process that everybody needs to do, because nobody's Helix presets are going to be the same. So you have to adjust your Powercab according to your presets, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So let's go over to the Powercab and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So the first thing you need to do, double check that whatever you're sending to the Powercab should be a line level, whether it's XLR or 1/4 inch. In this case, I'm using 1/4 inch, so I'm going to look in my global settings, make sure that my 1/4 inch send is line level. So once you have it figured out where you're sending a line level to the input of the Powercab, that's very important. It's a really big part of this, because you need to really hit that input hard with a lot of volume and a lot of signal. That's what's going to make it sound the way it's supposed to. So make sure that you're on line level. I think line level is like 13 dB higher than mic level. So whatever's getting into the Powercab, it doesn't even have to be Helix. It could be Kemper, Axe FX, could be an amp and a load box, whatever it is. Make sure you're sending a hot signal, and I'm going to show you how to tell how much of a signal you need. So I have a guitar riff that is looping right now. I use the 6-button looper in the Helix, and I'm going to bring it in with the volume pedal, and I'm going to show you guys what you should be paying attention to. So once a signal is being sent to the Powercab, you're going to look right here. There's a little signal button right there, and that's going to turn green or yellow or red. So as I bring in the volume pedal with this riff, and for this, you can actually turn your volume all the way down. You do not need any type of volume coming from the Powercab for this. So I'm going to bring in the guitar riff. So right now the guitar riff is playing in the background, and you see my signal here is green. Okay, green means that you have more to go. So it's not like green means go and you're good to go. You want this to start turning yellow. So what you have to do within your preset or on your unit, whether it's whatever modeling unit you're using, or if it's amp load box, you need to now up your volume. So I'm going to bring up my Helix big knob here. You see how it's starting to turn yellow. The manual says orange, or I don't understand why, but you see how that signal is now flashing yellow, between green and yellow, depending on what's coming out. So you'll hear there's a guitar riff playing, and that's the type of signal I'm getting. So I want to go all the way up until, oh, there we go. So there we go. It starts turning red. And now from there, I want to dial it back a little bit. So I'm getting a nice, healthy green to yellow signal going into my input. So say you don't want to do it this way. Say you don't want to touch your big knob. A lot of times, especially with me, I was definitely like this. I have my Helix set and I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch any of my outputs. I keep the big knob pointing to the E, and I leave it like that all the time. But if you're a person, again, with a different unit, that maybe you're tapped on volume, or you don't want to touch this big knob, there's another alternative for you to do. So let's go over again and I'll show you. So let's say I don't want to touch my volume and I just want to keep it right here. And obviously, when I get my signal in, I'm not sending a strong enough signal because it's not turning yellow. So your second option, you're going to hold the home button, and this is going to bring you into your global settings. So in your global settings, you have input gains. This first thing that you can select here is an input gain. So you're going to select it, and now you have 0.00 dB. You are going to turn this up until, there you go. You see it's starting to clip a little bit yellow. And there we go. It's starting to get red. Okay, 12 dB is the max you can go. But now we're going to dial it back so that we're getting a nice green to yellow healthy signal. And then from here, you'll just hit your home button and that'll save for you. So a couple of things worth noting. The volume knob on the Powercab does not affect the signal that's going to front of house. It does not affect the signal going to the mixing board, whatever you're doing. So right now in the room, there's no volume from the Powercab. I have that volume set totally off. And the reason I do that is so I can get my input gains right. So even when I'm on stage doing a sound check, I'll actually sound check with the volume totally off on the Powercab. So front of house is getting my good signal. And then as the band starts playing, I'll get my Powercab to where I can hear it properly. And again, this holds true for whatever modeling unit you're using, any type of thing you're using with the Powercab. That's how you want to set up your input gains for the best sound for you.